Hello, everybody. Good evening. We are live on our special conversation for Pastor Ro tonight. We have an amazing guest. Well, let me just go live on IG first of all. Now we have an amazing guest tonight. Tonight we are going on Instagram. So you want to go on Instagram? Welcome, guys. Welcome to Pastor Ro Conversations with Pastor Ro on Instagram. It's gonna be live tonight. We have my big brother in the house tonight, my special guest, Minister Sammie Okposo. So you know it's going to go wicked tonight. Good to see you, Uncle Sammie. Let me know where you're watching from. This is gonna be amazing. It's the special one tonight. I'm just waiting for you guys to come. It gives me great pleasure to bring my big brother. By the way, this is
yes. Hi, Pastor Bro.
Brother Sammie, good evening, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to be here. How are you, Pastor Rob?
I'm good. By the way, this is coming live from Ghana. Pastor Sammie is in Abuja. I'm right here in Ghana, where the wife is from. But we're killing it right now.
Wow. Trying to drop.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're repping United States. What you saying?
Yeah, I see you. I see you wearing your colors. If I had known, I would have worn my own. I would have worn my own colors too.
Well. So once again, thank you for joining us on Conversations with Pastor Ro. How y'all doing tonight? Now, first of all, say you need no introduction. You are one of Nigeria's biggest music exports, not just gospel music now, biggest music exports. But for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about the Sammie Okposo.
Well, what else am I going to say? You already put a brief bio about me on your page, and I think you did very well with that bio. So I don't want to rehearse it, because I'm very sure everybody who saw the post must have read it to know a little bit about me.
Right.
So I don't need to come after introducing my name is Sammie Okposo. I'm a gospel music artist. I'm a music producer, songwriter, and an entertainment consultant and a businessman. That's me.
Can you turn down your Instagram volume?
Oh, okay. Mine is turned down. So
mine is turned down too. So the echo has
stopped.
The
echo will reduce.
Yeah. So they say everybody has one. So share with us your salvation story.
For me, I'm a PK, and a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
My biological father, of blessed memory, Elder Henry Okposo, was one of the founding pastors of the Gospel Church of Christ, and its headquarters is in Lagos, because my parents used to live in Lagos. So they started that church, and then when my father was transferred, we moved to Warri, and then they gave him the mandate to start the church, a branch of the church in Warri. So the Gospel Church of Christ Warri branch started in our living room, whilst we were staying. off Deco Road in Warri. Then, you know.
That's a lot of right there.
So I grew up. My parents, my mom was late. She's late Deaconess Helen. She was also in the choir. So I'm a PK's kid. My parents were both
Right.
ordained ministers in church. So I grew up. That's how I grew up as a PK. And Sunday school was not optional. Yeah. Sunday school was not optional. You must go to Sunday school. You must be part of the morning devotion at home and the one at night before everybody goes to bed. So everything at home
Right.
was Christian. Nobody was allowed to watch anything that was crazy on TV. The only music we heard growing up were all Christian music at home, Christian music in the car. So I grew up in that kind of environment. But as I grew older and became a teenager, then became an adult, you know, adults will always be adults. Boys, we like to experiment and say, okay, why did daddy say I shouldn't do this? Why did mommy say I shouldn't do that? So, so at that age, but then I had given my life to Christ really early because that was the only thing I knew. That was the only thing I knew as a growing boy. So, but when I became an adult and we decided to be as naughty and crazy as boys who are 18, 19, 20, and 21 are, then we started doing quite some of the things that daddy and mommy said we shouldn't do. But they kept that whole foundation was there until I finished school, secondary school, and then I went to Benin to do A levels. But all this while, whilst I was in Warri, I was hardly in my family church, because when my talent for music was discovered, I was very young. I was about 10 or 11. So as I grew, when I became a teenager, the only place that you would go to if you really wanted to make something out of your life and learn the rudiments of music properly was to head to Ejire Street, Pastor Rowe. Was to head to Ejire Street then, because my spiritual father, which is your biological father, our daddy, Papa Ayo, which was that is where I got my proper rudiments of music, which is where I now rededicated my life to Christ, and under Papa Ayo then. So that was when I was probably maybe about 19 going on 20, because now my love for gospel music had taken over me. After school, after doing my homework and doing my home chores, boom, I'm gone. Straight. Just take the back route from where we used to stay, Bright Hope, and I find myself in Okumagba Avenue, straight to GAA Street. Music was it for me. Oh yeah. So that was that time that I now rededicated. But I was born a PK. But the rededication and total focus came under Papa Ayo when I became an adult.
So what made you decide to say, you started doing music at a very early age. So what made you decide that music was the path for you, or music ministry, so to speak?
The talent was discovered. I mean, my Sunday school teacher, Uncle Edward of blessed memory,
Right.
When I turned about 9, he bought me a little 2.5 or 3 octave battery operated piano, and I was fascinated by that gift. I put every other gift aside, and I mean, my parents were like, "He's 9. Why are you buying him this kind of gift?" And he said to them, whenever we're in Sunday school, whenever we ask, who's going to sing a song, he puts his hand up. Who is going to be part of the drama group? He put his hand up. Who's going to come and play the conga drums? He puts his hand up. So he just said, at that point, he knew there was something artistic about this boy. And he just said, buying me that 3.5 octave piano would bring something out. He wasn't sure. But I'm glad he bought me that piano today. Anytime I remember him, I say, God bless him. He's late now though, but he's the one who, because I just put my finger on it, Pastor Ro, and strangely, I was able to just pick nursery rhymes and church choruses with my little finger without any prior music teaching. Yes. So at that point, it consumed me so much. I didn't know what was. I didn't know how that was going to work until I started learning the rudiments of music properly under Papa Ayo, and then I knew it that I could not be found doing anything. It gave me so much contentment and happiness. The only thing I was thinking of, I couldn't wait for school to be over for me to run over there every day. I mean, it consumed me. So I couldn't find myself doing anything else. And that was it. That was when I just said, you know what? This is it. I'm going to see this to the end.
Wow. Okay. So this is really good. This is really good. Because, sometimes we see you, we've heard your Nollywood songs. I know a lot of people don't know you have a lot of Nollywood soundtracks. Wicked gospel album. But it's always good to hear the story of how the journey happened. Now, let's say
yes, everything. The foundation was from Worry.
Yeah,
Worry under Papa Ayo.
So let's say I'm a prophetical gospel singer. Maybe I sing in the church choir, and I want to be the next Sammie Okposo. How do I go about it?
Well, first things first. I passed through the process of serving. I served in the junior choir in the GRA. I moved over to the youth choir because that is one environment that will keep just you just keep being in the choir makes you rehearse like twice every week. You get tutored, and they teach you music parts, and I keep going back. The people who were over us then in the GRA, these were people who were grounded in music, so they were teaching you the proper way to learn it, from the tonic sophas to all the rudiments. You needed to go through that process. So it was a good. So when you are learning under people who know what they are doing, it's an advantage instead of just playing by ear or trying to identify the notes or the chords, or you don't even know what you are playing, but you can play. So serving in the children's choir, serving in the junior choir, and I eventually grew to being in the senior choir, even at my home church and under Papa Ayo. It's a grooming ground, because I don't think that is the best. It's a blessing. Any gospel artist who goes through the process of being in a music team or being in a choir, it is a good training ground, because by the time you step out eventually as a worship leader or a gospel recording artist,
Yeah.
you have been properly cooked. I will always encourage every gospel artist that there is a time to go through that process and be taught by people who know what they are doing. And it gives you an opportunity to constantly work on your gift every week. Rehearsal, midweek service, Sunday service, vigils, crusades, weddings. It is the best training ground. So everything you are taught, you put it to practice. You learn the parts, you learn how to sing on key, you learn how to sing the harmonies. If you are a singer, you learn how to sing the harmonies, you learn how to sing with people, you learn how to do duets, you learn how to sing on your own. They put you out there to do a solo. Sometimes it's just you, sometimes it's with the whole choir, or it's just the music team. So that is the best way to go about it. I really, and I'm speaking for myself because this is how I came up. And that is why I am still here 3 decades later, still doing what I'm doing at the level that I'm doing it. I got proper training and I went through the process. I didn't just appear and wanted to become an artist, wanted to become the frontline singer. In fact, that was not even my desire from the beginning. It was God taking me through the process of, okay, you master this. Like you rightly said, I did a lot of Nigerian home videos. I worked in studios, learning how to do radio commercials, TV commercials, voiceovers, singing backups for other people's albums, being a background vocalist for artists who are already established. So the process, Pastor Ro, is very, very important. And if you boycott the process, I would not advise anybody. Go through the process of being in a music team in any local assembly of your choice and learn the ropes, so that by the time it is your time to be the frontline artist, you have learned so much. So that is good. That is my advice. Go through the process of being part of a music team, serve in a local assembly, and learn all you can learn, and use the local assembly every week in, week out as your immediate crowd. Practice that gift on them until God releases you to go out on your own.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. Now I can think of, gosh, I don't know how many hit songs you have. I can. Now you've been trained and you've done all kinds of things, you know, at church, Nollywood also. I keep reminding the guys. I mean, we're talking about Nollywood in the 90s, you know. What is your recipe for a hit song?
What is my recipe for?
A hit song. To write a hit song. You want to write a hit song. So what's your recipe?
For writing songs?
No, for writing a song that will blow, that everybody will sing at church.
Oh, okay. Well, you see,
like Jesus, thank you.
Well, I know, you see, sometimes you never really know which particular song God is going to use to introduce you to the world. Sometimes, in fact, sometimes you as the worship minister or the artist, you think it is this particular song, and the album comes out and nobody even pays attention to the song that you think.
Right.
And it is another song. So what I say is, make sure that every song has the same mindset of excellence behind it, because people write songs differently. Some people get that inspiration differently to write. Sometimes it is an encounter. Sometimes it is when you are praying or when you are reading the word or in your own private worship time, something just drops in your spirit. Sometimes it is a melody. And sometimes it comes with words. And sometimes it is just words, no melody. And sometimes you don't even get the full song on the first day. Sometimes you just get the first 3 lines, and if you have somewhere to record that melody, write it down real quick or record it on some gadget and just leave it. And sometimes you don't even come back to that song until a lot later. So I cannot tell that there is a formula that this is what you need to do. But what I can say is, if you do not know how to write, because some artists are gifted to be able to write and sing and produce. Like me, I can write. I do my productions myself. I produce all the work. And then I have to be the lead vocals. I know the kind of harmonies I want to hear. I know how to direct the vocals and do all of, I did choir directing for close to 15 to 17 years straight. So that gives me an edge dealing with a choir. So if you cannot write, let somebody else write. And if you cannot produce, let somebody else produce. You know? So the inspiration is different, and we are not just any kind of artist. First of all, our message is about Jesus. So that the ultimate inspiration comes from God when it comes, whether it is through an encounter or it is through a story you heard, it is through something, but it comes from God. So when you put your Bible down to write, you can actually pray to God to inspire you. Yes, you can pray to God to inspire you in a certain direction, because especially if God gives you a burden for a particular kind of sound, like I want to get this sound to my people and I want to get it through you, and when you begin to feel that burden, that means God wants to get a message through you to the people. And trust me, when you spend quality time, you choose quality time to just meditate in your private space with God, He will begin to speak to your heart, speak to your spirit. Because what we do is not just about the groove. Yes, I have no problem with the song being groovy and danceable, but I want to know what the message is in the middle of all the excitement. Right. In the middle of all the excitement, it can make people scream, it can make people jump, but it has to ultimately lead people to Jesus at the end of the day. Yes. It has to ultimately. So for gospel songwriters, the way the secular people write songs, we are operating on a different atmosphere. We have rules and regulations, terms and conditions. So we have to totally rely on the Holy Spirit to supervise everything that we do, because there is nothing wrong with having a great beat that people can dance to. Being a Christian is not living a boring lifestyle that you can't dance or you can have a great time moving your body to steps. In fact, I do a lot of that. I like to create a crazy praise atmosphere for people to just lose themselves in high praise. High praise. So, but as I do that, what people are saying, the content of that whole electric atmosphere, at the end of the day, it must have taken and given people an encounter with Jesus, where by the time they finish praising, people are already praising and knowing that, listen, burdens have lifted. I came to church with so much on my mind, but after this praise session, I feel like God has taken that burden away, that people get an encounter. They go home and talk about the fact that during the praise session, that heaviness that I came with lifted off me. And that is giving people an encounter. And that is what is my concern. So that it is not just an aerobic session. People just jump up and down and they are sweating. And at the end of the day, there is no encounter. There is no Jesus in all of it. It is not centered on God. So I don't need to come to church for that. I can go to the gym and do the treadmill for 2 hours and I will sweat. But if I am in a church atmosphere and we are in a high praise session, I must be able to know that after this praise session, my goodness, I felt the presence of God, or something, a heaviness left me. I was dancing, I was limping. When I came in here, I can't even feel the pain. Miracles in a praise atmosphere. That is what I'm talking about. Let the people be happy, let them jump, let them dance, but let it be all God-centered and create an atmosphere that will lead to testimonies. So you don't just get that by writing from your imagination, or you just write a few words, you rhyme them together and they sound nice, and you put some melody. It will be empty, because trust me, when you are done, when somebody who comes, who has received that sound from the presence of God, the difference will be clear. It will be crystal clear. That, listen, people are going to be wondering, the person who just finished singing, what did he or she do? What did he or she do? Because right now it looks like this place, there's a shift in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it is not about a fantastically produced song. What I'm saying, Pastor Rowe, is at the end of the day, whatever you do, whatever you write, whatever you sing, let it give people an experience of Jesus. That is what it is. And if it doesn't do that,
is it?
Yeah.
Before you release the song to the public, you should first of all have an encounter with the song.
That's right. Because you cannot take people to a place you have never been to.
Word.
Worship leaders, you are trying to lead people in worship, but you don't know where you are supposed to take them to. You know, because there's an error, Pastor Ron, where the worship leader takes the microphone and you begin to spend the first 5 minutes, 7 minutes trying to work the atmosphere. But you are doing that at the meeting because you did not come to the meeting with the atmosphere. You should come with the atmosphere. You don't come to the meeting to create the atmosphere.
Wow.
And that happens because you have spent alone time when nobody was watching, nobody was there. You were worshiping, audience of one. So you know what it feels like to be in the presence of God. You cannot take people to a place you have never been to. If not, it's just going to be noise. So you don't come to the meeting. You have 20 minutes to minister. The first 10 minutes you are trying to work the crowd, you are trying to work the atmosphere, and before you know, your time is gone, and you have not you have not been effective, you have not been impactful, and the people cannot really say to a meaning something happened, they touched God or they heard God. So worship leaders need to come. You come to the meeting with the atmosphere. You bring it, and as you are leading them, that is what ignites the corporate worship of the people. You are the lead worship leader. Wow. You must come there ready. You come ready, and if it is 5 minutes, you hold the microphone, and heaven gives accreditation to your voice. Like, we know this one. He comes to us regularly. He comes. We know him, and for 5 minutes, you will be shocked that it's not about how long you have to minister to be impactful, Pastor Rob. In 5 minutes, you can switch the atmosphere and put people in the Shekinah presence of Jehovah if you know the coordinates.
Whoa.
So you worship leaders need to know this. It's yes, it is gospel music. There is some part of entertainment there where the people need to have a great time. They need to scream, they need to shout. But hey, it can be all noise if God is not in it.
It can be all noise if God is not in it.
You know,
This is powerful.
so
I know you have to run, you know. But let me ask you one question. Let's on the light. This has just blessed my socks off. But let me ask you a simple something. You know, I know. No, I mean, like in London, or like kind of sneaked out. We are in lockdown at the moment. You know,
yes,
and we've been in isolation or lockdown because of this rubbish pandemic that we've had this whole year.
yes.
You know, so we've all spent a lot of alone time. So if you were left alone in the desert by yourself, Sammie Okposo, all by your lonely, and you could only take 5 albums with you, what will they be?
That is not a fair question. That's wrong. Me all alone in the desert, only 5 albums. Yeah. That is so tough. What? Because I don't mean to be, that is tough. That is tough. You want to make me, this is not a fair question, Pastor Ro. I don't think I want to answer it because there are different, my playlist is so elaborate and they are all for different times and different seasons. So
okay, let's give you 10.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. I will, first of all, I will have at least 3 of my albums in there.
Okay.
I will have at least because as a music minister, if my music does not bless me, it cannot bless anybody else.
True.
That is my conviction. Even I mean, you will just, I mean, Pastor Ro, preachers are blessed preaching the word to the people, sometimes even more than the people that are receiving the word.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah. So you are like, and sometimes the preacher says something, and the people they don't get it on time, and they're like, that is like,
so good. I could take myself
this is so good. I need to give myself an offering, and you guys just missed a good place to shout. You know, so
yeah,
I make sure my album blesses me. I am able to put on some of my songs and just totally detach myself as the artist, and it just takes me straight into the presence of God because those songs, they came from a special place. So I will have 3 of my albums in there. So I'm not going to tell you which one. I'm just going to have them randomly chosen. But after that, I'm going to have. I'm gonna have a Donnie McClurkin album there with me. That's 4.
Okay.
Because Pastor Donnie is a mentor to me from over these years, musically and spiritually. I'm honored to have access to him when I need to, and he's been in my life, has really affected the way I think, the way I worship, the way I write, and the way I just do ministry generally. So I'm gonna have to. Yes.
I love it. I love the first album.
That's psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs.
I love that one also.
That is my album.
So what's the album? We've got 3 Sammie Okposo albums, 1 Donnie McClurkin album. What's number 5?
Yes. Number 5. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have a Moen album.
Which one?
On one, that first one that has, I just want to be where you are. Dwelling daily in your presence. I don't want to worship from afar. Draw me near to where you are. I want to be where you are. Daily in your presence. Feasting at your table. Surrounded by your glory. In your presence. That's where I always want to be. I just want to be. I just want to be. So that album is going with me.
Someone said Addicted will definitely be your album, by the way.
Sorry?
Someone said your album Addicted will definitely be there. That should be there.
Addicted will be there. That person is in the spirit. Addicted will be there. I agree with you. Addicted will be there. That album is a remarkable album. I must say so myself. God did some interesting things with that album. So, and then another album that will be there is my No More Drama album, the one that has that I will leave you, I know, even if the world don't say so. I will let them know everywhere I go. So, because I wrote that song from a deep place, I had an interesting encounter with Jesus when I wrote that album. So, Don Moen and Kirk Franklin's first album, The Reason Why I Sing. That's a classic. I know that I can make it. I know that I can stand. No matter what will come my way. My life is in your hands. That album. It's there. So 3, 4, 5, this is 6 technically. And Pages of Life.
Woo! Now that's for me his best work ever. Pages of Life Parts 1 and 2.
Woo!
I played it every day in one season of my life.
My God. You know, so that is how many now? Is this 6 or 7?
This is 6 now. Now number 7.
Okay. Number 7 will be.
Actually, this is 7. We've done 7 because you had Don McClurkin, Don Moen, Kirk Franklin, what I was saying, and Pages of Life. So
4 plus 3, 7. I have 3 to go.
Yeah.
This is not fair. You should have given me 20, man.
When you come back.
Yes, when we come back for part 2, I'll do the other 10. But now, and then I will pick then if I come home, I will pick Panam Percy Paul's Bring Down the Glory. I am serving a living God. His name is Jesus. You know, there are some songs, the anointing on those songs, it surpasses generations to generations.
Oh yeah.
Jesus. Your name is a miracle. Your name is a comforter. I will go with that album. and I have 2 more.
Okay. Yeah.
My goodness. And I will go with that with Sinach's album, the album that's her first album that has, listen, every song, every worship song it's like, oh my God. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. I stand amazed. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name.
Awesome.
I will go with that. And I have one more.
One more.
I will go with Mercy Chinwo's Excess Love album.
Oh, that album is the bomb.
Thank you. That is my first 10.
I mean, I have a feel for each song. You know, the first I heard Boy Come the first time, I was like, oh my God, this is a song. Best song on the album.
Yes.
2 weeks later, If My Name is my best song.
Jesus, the Mechanaya, I worship you today. Jesus, the Mechanaya, hey, I bow before your throne. Listen, that's our first album. Lord, you just go from track to track to track. Ah, so that's my first 10. When I come back for part 2, I'm going to give you another 10.
It's good to have you. We went over the time we planned. It's been such a pleasure to have you here. First on conversation. For you, definitely coming back. We have to make it happen.
I'm coming, people. Stay tuned. I'm coming for a part 2, and that part 2, you guys should stay, because that part 2 is going to be one and a half until we are tired. That's when we'll stop.
Love you, sir. Love you so much. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Pastor Ro. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I was able to do this tonight. I mean, looking at it, just a little bit short of 45 minutes, and I'm glad we were able to go this far tonight. And I'm sure, I hope people were blessed, people who tuned in on IG and on YouTube and on Facebook. I'll be back again. And thank you so much, Pastor Ro, for having me. I will run now. Thank you. Blessings to you and yours and your family.
Blessings to you also. Have an amazing service.
Yes, I will. Woo, blessings.
Bless you. Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's been fantastic. It's been fire tonight. Next Friday, we're going to have Isaiah Raymond Dyer. Check him out. If you don't know, you would know. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But tonight's been amazing. You want to come back and watch this, you want to smash a like on the video, you want to smash a love, and we would have to get Sammie Okposo back so we can have a proper long session. So guys, have an amazing weekend. Join us for church at 2 p.m. on Sunday on Facebook and YouTube. You know how it is. I'm up in Ghana. There's music in the background from the hotel, but I've enjoyed this tonight. I love you all. Kisses. God loves you, and so do I. Have a brilliant weekend. Bye-bye.